Namo Amida Butsu. Hello once again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whenever you are, in whichever realms of existence you are, whatever mind states you're in, whatever conditions you are in, you are welcome to this channel and to Jodo Shinshu and to the Dharma of Amida Buddha. I want to continue my series of readings and continue with the Pure Land hymns on the right semblance and the last Dharma-Ages by Shinran, actually under his name Gutoku Zenshin. But and we left off with 34. So we'll pick up from there. I'll share the screen here. And then we'll continue. The reason I'm doing this, of course, is for all the reasons I mentioned in my last video. Just these are things that I think are, I think it's really important to emphasize or to really understand Mappo, the age we live in. Because it's, it's a pretty important part of Shinran and Renryo's writings. And, how should we behave? How should we, I think the Dharma-Ages are an important part of the teaching, I think, and really also the context of the declining Kalpa, at which, toward the end of which, these Dharma-Ages, the right semblance and last Dharma-Age are occurring. Just to be able to, put my life, the Jodo Shinshu teaching, and all of that in context, and just for practical reasons, also how, to know how we should be living in Mappo and how we should be, what our attitude should be and how to deal with it. This is not an easy age to live in, for obvious reasons. And we deserve to live here. We deserve to be living in these. And if you're living in Mappo, just like me, you deserve to be here because of your karmic causes and conditions. But we have the great fortune to be born into a rare human birth, and to encounter the Buddha Dharma, to encounter Jodo Shinshu, to encounter Amida Buddha and his teachings and his 18th vow, and so all of that we can be grateful for, and all of that is by the thing by which we lived, but just the broader everyday context of it. So that's why I'm doing these readings, is to kind of set up for some discussions with Kyokan, some of which we've kind of covered in the Bamboo and Daily Life series that I've been doing with Kyokan. But I'm going to take that further and go into the other, principles of, we talked about the principles of humanity, but I want to talk about there's four other areas that are mentioned by Renryo and Shinran and Renryo, the principles of humanity, justice, etc., and other things. I just want to have some more discussions around this about what it means to be living in Mappo, and how to deal with that, how to cope with that, how to on a practical, pragmatic level, mitigate your, and do the best you can within that, and all those things. So anyway, that's why I'm doing these readings, and to set up for those discussions that I want to have, those Dharma dialogues I want to have with Kyokan. So continuing, we left off at 34 in this text. So we'll continue from here. Through the compassion of Shakyamuni. Oh wait, before I begin, I want to do some Nabutsu. So that is what I will do. Get my beads ready here. So, yeah. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo, 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 Namo. Okay. Through the compassion of Shakyamuni and Amida, we have been brought to realize the mind that seeks to attain Buddhahood. It is by entering the wisdom of Shinjin that we become persons who respond in gratitude to the Buddha's benevolence. So Roman numeral 1, so the note here is Roman numeral 1.1. Know that we receive true Shinjin through their guidance. And then in italics, mind that seeks to attain Buddhahood. The mind that entrusts to Amida's vow to become Buddha. The aspiration for supreme enlightenment in the Pure Land path. Wisdom of Shinjin. That's italics, wisdom of Shinjin. Know that Amida's vow is wisdom. The emergence of the mind of entrusting oneself to it is the arising of wisdom. It is by the power of Dharma-Ages vow that we realize the Nembutsu that is wisdom. Were it not for the wisdom of Shinjin, how could we attain nirvana? So italics, Nembutsu that is wisdom. This is said because one attains Buddhahood through Amida's vow. In italics, attain nirvana, become true Buddha. It is a great torch in the long night of ignorance. Do not sorrow that your eyes of wisdom are dark. It is a ship on the vast ocean of birth and death. Do not grieve that your obstructions of evil karma are heavy. Well, there we go, right there. There's some strong guidance on how we should approach our lives in Mappo. It is, and our lives as Bambu, in this provisional life we're in. It is a great torch in the long night of ignorance. Do not sorrow that your eyes of wisdom are dark. It is a ship on the vast ocean of birth and death. Do not grieve that your obstructions of evil karma are heavy. So, do not sorrow, do not grieve. Great torch. That's in italics, great torch. Amida's primal vow is likened to a torch. The power of the vow is without limit. Thus, even our evil the power of the vow is without limit. Thus, even our karmic evil, deep and heavy, is not oppressive. The Buddha's wisdom is without bounds. Thus, even those of distracted minds and self-indulgence are not abandoned. Again, more guidance here. The power of the vow is without limit. Thus, even our karmic evil, deep and heavy, is not oppressive. Because of that, we need not feel oppressed. We should not feel oppressed by our karmic evil or living in Mappo. The Buddha's wisdom is without bounds. Thus, even those of distracted minds and self-indulgence are not abandoned. So, we don't need to be worried about our distracted minds and self-indulgence, although we should, in the process of Jinin, in the process of Amida's working, we do naturally come to want to abandon evil, come to abandon our evil ways and evil behavior because of Amida's working and power. Anyway, so the note here, so Roman numeral 1.1, the Buddha's power is without limit. Roman numeral 1.2, we should not think of the obstructions of our karmic evil to be too heavy, too deep and heavy. So again, good guidance there. Roman numeral 1.3, know that the Buddha's wisdom is vast and without limit. Roman numeral 1.4, we should know that we will go to the Pure Land regardless of the distractions, regardless of the distraction and evil of our minds. When we reflect on the establishment of vow, we find that the Tathagata, without abandoning sentient beings in pain and affliction, has taken the directing of virtue to them as foremost, thus fulfilling the mind of great compassion. So in italics, establishment of the vow, Amida Tathagata's establishing of the compassionate vow. Roman numeral 1.4, know that Amida has attained the mind of great love and great compassion. The saying of the name arising from true and real Shinjin is Amida's directing of virtue to beings. Therefore, it is called not directing merit. And saying the Nembutsu is saying the Nembutsu in self-power is rejected. So let me read that again. The saying of the name arising from true and real Shinjin is Amida's directing of virtue to beings. So even the name, even saying the name that's arising from true and real Shinjin is Amida's directing of virtue to beings. Therefore, it is called not directing merit. I suppose that means, does that mean that's us not directing merit? It's Amida. It's all Amida's merit. It's all Amida directing the merit. And saying Nembutsu in self-power is rejected. So in parentheses, not directing merit. Oh, there we go. There's the explanation. Not directing merit. This expression means that we are to realize that it is not the practitioners directing merit. This matter is explained in the essentials for attaining birth. So there you go. I was correct in what I was saying, but there it was in the italicized explanation there. So when the waters, the mind, good and the mind, sorry, let's start again. When the waters, the minds, good and evil of foolish beings, have entered the vast ocean of Amida's vow of wisdom, they are immediately transformed into the mind of great compassion. A very big deal indeed, something very special indeed. So Roman numeral 1.1, good and evil minds are likened to river waters. Italicized, transformed. The mind of evil is transformed into good. There's a whole video that's going to be eventually posting where we discussed that. Kyokan and I in a Dharma dialogue discussed that in a kind of related topic, actually. And so that's an important thing that we are evil by Amida is transformed into good. That's a very, very key thing, for how to, deal with our bamboo lives in Mappo, is knowing that and knowing that Amida is transforming our evil into good. In the sort of Jinin process of Jinin, the process of his working, of Amida's working. Then Roman numeral 1.4, just as the various waters enter the ocean and immediately become seawater, so the waters of the mind, good and evil, become the mind of great compassion. Bear with me a second, just need to let the animal realm has come to join us for a moment. Here you go. Just have to lecture outside. Well, perhaps you wanted to hear the Dharma for a moment. Okay, so Roman numeral 1.4, just as the various waters enter the ocean and immediately become seawater, so the waters of the minds, good and evil, become the mind of great compassion. That's just mind-blowing, isn't it? So, okay, next part. Among my disciples who give themselves to doing evil. Oh, wait, sorry, start again. And this is a quote in quotations. So, among my disciples who will give themselves to doing evil, wrong views and self-indulgence will flourish, and in the last age they will destroy my teaching. Unquote. Thus, Shakyamuni foretells the lotus face in the Lotus Face Sutra. Sentient beings who slander the Nembutsu or abuse the Nembutsu fall into a Vici hell and suffer great pain and affliction without respite for 80,000 kalpas. Thus it is taught. So let's say that again. Sentient beings who slander the Nembutsu fall into a Vici hell and suffer great pain and affliction without respite for 80,000 kalpas. Thus it is taught. So some very important guidance there. Let's not slander or abuse the Nembutsu. Definitely don't want to be doing that. But then again, anyone that is, let's say, being influenced by Amida through his vow power, would naturally not want to be abusing or slandering the Nembutsu. I'd say it'd be the opposite, be upholding and cherishing and lauding and being, massively grateful for the Nembutsu. Anyway, so Vici, and as italicized Vici, uninterrupted hell. That's what a Vici means, or a Vici. I'm not sure how that's pronounced. I always thought it was a Vici for some reason, but that could be just my Italianness. Anyway. Okay, so receiving the true cause of birth in the true fulfilled land, through the words of the two honored ones, we dwell in the stage of the truly settled. Thus we will unfailingly attain nirvana. Obviously, the two honored ones being Shakyamuni Buddha and Amida Buddha. I'll just read that again. Receiving the true cause of birth in the true fulfilled land, through the words of the two honored ones, we dwell in the stage of the truly settled. Thus, we will unfailingly attain nirvana. At least I think it's referring to Shakyamuni Buddha and Amida Buddha as the two honored ones. So in italics, nirvana, great complete nirvana. Through the words of the witness and protection of the countless Buddhas throughout the 10 quarters, we should realize the mind of self-power aspiring for supreme enlightenment is incapable of reaching fulfillment. So another strong guidance here. Through the words of the witness and protection of the countless Buddhas throughout the 10 quarters, we should realize that the mind of self-power aspiring for supreme enlightenment is incapable of reaching is incapable of reaching fulfillment. Realization of true and real Shinjin is rare in the defiled world of the last Dharma age. The witness of Buddhas, countless as the sands of the Ganges, reveal how difficult it is to attain. And this is something in Shinran's writings that he's constantly, is turning up over and over again of, how difficult it is to encounter, difficult to practice, difficult to realize, difficult, referring to um, um, all of this, the teaching, everything. There's various ways it refers to it, but um, um, obviously it's the easy path. But if you have, if you know, to be able to truly kind of um, stop calculating about it is very difficult, I think. Which is the, I guess there isn't any obstruction to Amita's light and wisdom and mind and merit coming to us, but it's very difficult for us to stop calculating about everything, and difficult to give up the self-power. Anyway, so there's a lot more to that, but anyway, I'll bring that up in discussion with Kyokan, because I think I need some more understanding of that. So anyway, so again, realization of true and real Shinjin is rare in the defiled world of the last Dharma-Age. The witness of Buddhas countless as the sands of the Ganges reveals how difficult it is to attain. And the other thing I want to say is these are just my reflections. I don't claim to be any kind of teacher or knowledgeable person about Jodo Shinshu or the teachings. These are just my reflections as I go along, and take them for what they're worth, coming from the Bambu, an ordinary, foolish being, lay person like me. If we had not encountered Amita's directing of virtue for going forth and returning, our transmigration, birth and death would have no end. What could we do then, sinking in this sea of pain? Roman number 1.2, the two aspects of Amita's directing virtue. When thus we entrust ourselves to the inconceivable Buddha wisdom, we dwell in the stage of the truly settled. Those who are born transformed in the Pure Land are of superior wisdom, and they realize the supreme enlightenment. So just want to go back here and just say these last few are kind of emphasizing, let's not miss the opportunity that we have as humans born in Mappo, but we've encountered this Dharma now. How long will it be if we don't take this opportunity now to listen deeply, to say the Nembutsu, to study the Dharma, and and I don't say study as a practice, I just say immerse ourselves in the Dharma, to have Dharma dialogue, to speak up, as Renyo says, to, if we don't do that now, when will we do it? And the rareness of human birth, that's the urgency about this. That's the, is let's not miss this opportunity while we have it, because human birth is very rare. It's very rare, and mostly people go down. Mostly we go down, when we, with our karma causes and conditions as Bambu, to lower worlds, lower realms, where it's much more difficult to have the consciousness to be able to encounter the Buddha, or to even be aware of the Buddha or the Buddha Dharma, or Amida Buddha, or anything like that. Not that anything obstructs Amida. Amida's light reaches every realm, everywhere. Amida's compassion and mind and merit transference reaches all realms, everywhere. Nothing obstructs it. But for us to be able to encounter it, to be able to even say Nembutsu, to be able to even listen deeply or anything like that, our prime opportunity for that is the human realm. It's the right balance of enough suffering, but not too much, so that we can't, and it's not too much non-suffering. It's not too much ease like they have in the God's realm either, because if you have too much, you have too easy. Why are you going to seek Dharma? Why are you going to, So that's the human realm. Is just like the perfect place to be, and it's so rare. So we need to take the opportunity while we have it to listen deeply, to say Nembutsu, to to speak up, to have Dharma dialogue, and do all the things that our Dharma masters and Jodo Shinshu teach us to do. And I'll have to leave it there because I'm being summoned. So take care. Namo Amida Butsu. I might be able to, yeah, no, that's it.